2026 is a critical year for Boston College as Father Jack takes over. This is big because he has a chance to redefine Boston College athletics. What does he need to do? I'll give some of my wish list items for the new president.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. I'm your host, AJ Black of Eagle Insider, part of the 247 Network. I've been covering Boston College for over a decade. If you're looking for Boston College news, analysis, and details on your Eagles, you are in the right place. Locked On Boston College is a free daily Boston College podcast available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. On today's show, we're going to look at the national portal mess that has been brewing up with two big items I want to talk about. And I want to talk about what college football and college athletics needs to do to get this under control. But I want to spend a good amount of time to talk about Father Jack Butler. And I'm going to give you my wish list of things that I hope he can change at BC. Now, it's been over a year since we found out Father Jack was going to be taking over for Father Leahy at the end of the 2026 academic school year. Now, according to the initial press release, Father Jack was on sabbatical up until December, and he's starting to, job shadow Father Leahy for the next 6 months and is set to take over in June. Now, we've talked about, everything that, what he could bring and all that, but I want to really dive in today. It's a quiet day, and the reason why I want to bring it up is for football. Now, we are on the tail end of a big portal season, that something I never thought would happen at Boston College. BC loses 30 players in the portal, brings in 26. They were trying for 27 and they still have one more spot left. And, I think you saw what the gaps are between Boston College and the Blue Bloods. Now, Boston College will never be a Blue Blood, but there is no reason that with the right leadership, with the right financial backing, Boston College can get back into the middle to upper echelon where they can be exciting at years and do things that you didn't expect, like 2006 and 2007. But you need leadership for this. So what kind of leadership and what does Father Jack need to do? Well, first of all, he needs to treat college football what it is. It's a business. And yes, these kids are student athletes. And yes, academics are going to be really important for a lot of them. But look at the world around them. Listen to what Carson Beck said during the national championship game. When they asked him about his classes, he laughed and joked. And I believe he said he hadn't taken classes in 2 years. This is what college football is now. It's a minor league system. So you're going to have kids that want to come here and get that education. And that's great. Listen, that is super critical. But you might have some kids that want to come here and they're graduate students and they've already got their degree and they're in their 5th year. Just let them in. Just let them in. Let them play for 1 year. So really, for me, one big wish list is to look at the admissions policies at Boston College and align them with the NCAA. We don't need to be this school on a hill for this kind of stuff. Like, there's no reason Boston College has to be snooty. Obviously, there's going to be kids that you don't want here. I get that, right? There's whether there's like they haven't gone to school or whatever. Those kids are, I get it, right? But those, there's kids that are going to be trying to come in, whether they're transfers or recruits, that if you finagle and work with them a little bit, you can get them in. BC has always been one of those schools where it's been really tough. You hear about it all the time. That's going to be something he needs to look at. Yes, you're going to have to pull a double standard, but you're paying these kids. That's basically a double standard anyways. So who cares? Fix that. That's one big piece for me. Additionally, for football, we need to look at revenue, bringing in more, not revenue, sorry, the amount of money spent on this team. Now, the biggest thing that we hear about all the time covering Boston College athletics is the 31 varsity athletic programs that they have. And I think, and there's going to be people who hate me, that they really need to look at that. And I'm not going to recommend any specific sport to be axed because I did that one time and I got yelled at by a whole bunch of alumni. Don't need that to happen. But you look at Boston College should not be Stanford light when it comes to this. They in this day and age, it's not working. And Stanford's not having very much success either in terms of their football team. But BC needs the money if you really want this athletic program to work, you need to have football being the gold standard, and they're not. So for Father Jack for football, like they need to either, if it's cutting programs or just having the school give more money, you need to be able to do this. Because when you're hiring, and who knows what happens next year, and how long Bill O'Brien stays around. I know he says he wants to be around for a while, but after a 2-10 season, things could look in a different way. You want to have money so that you can go out and get a good head coach, or keep a good head coach and be able to pay him so you don't lose him. Same thing with your assistants. You also need more assistants. So there's just this need for more money. And BC has come a long way, but they were miles behind and they still have miles to go. So for Father Jack, one thing I really would love to see from him is an infusion of more money. Find it. You have a multi-billion-dollar endowment, and I know that a lot of that can't be touched, but you're charging kids $92,000 a year or whatever it is. I know there's financial aid too. I'm not diving it. This is not a business podcast. BC has money. Find it and support the football team the right way. It'll generate money. And I know Father Jack wants to win. So that's something important. We already got one of our part of our wish list, which is that Alumni Stadium is going to be renovated for all you general admission fans that go into Section DD or whatever. It's not going to help you, but for the richer people, hopefully that money will be helpful in terms of funding more things. So for football, additionally, I would love, for them to help have him figure out how to better support, paying more for these athletes. Indiana is obviously a different case because they have a huge fan base. They've got Mark Cuban, but BC has rich donors too. And as long as BC is just concerned about getting names on buildings, these rich donors are not going to be able to pay for it. Additionally, if the teams aren't winning, these rich donors aren't going to want to do it. You need someone who can sell that vision. Kurt Signetti did a great job of that with Indiana, right? So having this new president push donors that direction. I'm sure he does a little bit. Father Leahy does a little bit, but as much as if they want to get mad about what I'm saying, and I'm sure someone will hear this and get mad at me, they always do. The piece that gets to me is, you're trying, but every single factor that I see shows you're far behind everybody else. You're paying your coaches less. The coaches are leaving because they can get better jobs. You're not being able to be super competitive in the portal. I mean, you brought in a nice class, but are any of those guys like top ticket type players? No, you tried and you weren't able to do it. So that's a big piece. And for in terms of financing, Father Jack needs to be proactive with New Balance. How can they get them more involved? Like, these are all questions and wish list things I want to see from him just for the football team. Additionally, I mean, I want him to overall, just the overarching theme with Father Jack. My hope is, I mean, if you're listening to this, how many times have you seen Father Leahy at a football game? Just throwing it out there. I don't think I've ever seen him there, and I've gone to almost every football game in 15 years. I'm sure he's there for a variety of different games, but he's just not very present. Father Jack could do that. And hopefully his presence and commitment to this program will help take it up. There's programs out there that BC can model after and still be successful. UVA, Duke. You've seen how successful they both have been. Do what they're doing. Do what Vanderbilt's doing. Fix it. You can do it. And if your alignment with Blake James is not the same, then there's another change you need to make. Like, maybe he likes Blake James, and I'm not sure. I'm not here to advocate one way or another, but your alignment from the top needs to cycle all the way down to the lowest part of this program And that is what we've heard from Father Jack all along, is that he wants to win. If you want to win, you have to change what we're doing right now, because BC is not winning. And so fix that through your vision and get that going. In a moment, let's talk basketball. Ooh, I got some thoughts for Father Jack on that in a minute too.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. The WNBA has released its 2026 schedule, featuring a 44-game regular season beginning on Friday, May 8th. The league's historic 30th season includes expansion teams Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo, with opening weekend highlights such as Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever hosting Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings, and a rematch of the 2025 finals between the Aces and the Mercury. In college hoops, South Carolina handed Vanderbilt its first loss of the season with a dominant 103-74 win. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment. Putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Locked On Boston College. And now I want to tell you one more quick thing. The Everydayers Club continues to grow here at Locked On BC. More and more of you have joined, and I'm so appreciative of each of you who have become part of our club. Whether you're at the basic level, you're getting yourself, ad-free shows, you're getting access to our group chat, or you're going for that all access tier where I'm sending out, bonus material to you. I've done bonus shows, at least 2 or 3 this week. Like, if you're missing out, you're missing out, man. You need to get in. If you want to be part of this, you need to sign up today. You're going to get a few free months. You're going to get access to all that. You get to text me. You get discounts on Locked On swag, like my beautiful hat here. I think you guys would love it. Hopefully you sign up. The details are in the show notes. So again, this show, I was looking at what I wanted to do for today's show because the portal is closed. Spring ball is still over a month away. Hockey hasn't played, and honestly, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about hockey on this show. They had a nice sweep of UNH. But when I was looking at other shows, I was like, what are other programs talking about? And every show, whether it's Syracuse or Auburn or Florida, they're all talking about basketball. On this show, I can't talk about basketball because when I do, no one listens. And the reason why? Because no one cares about the basketball team. They haven't cared in years. The attendance is pathetic. They don't win basketball games because they don't win basketball games. They play a sloppy brand of basketball that's hard to watch, and they haven't been competitive on a consistent basis in years. I mean, the best year you had was an NIT run, and folks are looking for that. I mean, you're looking for the best 64 teams or 67 teams in the NCAA tournament. BC has not been in that since 2008. That's almost 20 years. That has to change. Boston is a hotbed of college basketball. You've had a ton of talent, whether it's AJ Diopinsa going to BYU. You had, what was his name? Terrence Clark that went to Kentucky. I mean, the names go on and on and on. There's so much talent in this area. For BC to just be the doormat of the ACC for year after year after year is inexcusable. BC should have a competitive team every single year. There's no reason why they shouldn't have to. So Father Jack needs to figure this out. He's going to be shadowing Father Leahy for the next 6 months. So when BC's basketball season mercifully ends in a couple months, it's going to be, I don't know who's going to get the final call. I would hope Father Jack gets the final call and not Father Leahy on a move on Earl Grant. I've talked about it on the show, right? You have a coach who has BC playing ugly basketball, poor situational basketball, and just other than the Syracuse and Pitt game, have found a way to lose constantly. And like, yeah, you're going to, for all the folks that were going, hey, AJ, they turned it around for those 2 games. And he's saying it too, like, oh, we figured it out. We're turning things around. Well, you know what? You just took 8 steps back by doing the exact same thing you did all season long against Notre Dame. So I don't see things changing here. BC needs to be competitive. And to do that, you need to bring in a coach that draws attention from recruits and, most importantly, transfers. Because the thing with basketball that's very different than football. Well, football's even at this point. I mean, God, what BC just did, that this disproves what I'm about to say. Basketball, you can change your luck in one transfer portal class. You can get a class in and immediately look what Louisville did. Look what NC State just did, right? Those are bigger programs and they're sleeping giants. But there's no reason, again, I say this, that if you put a little bit of money into this, get yourself a good head coach at the end of the season, one that's exciting, that knows how to win. With some extra money to spend, again, BC, you got to spend. This is, if Father Jack is going to go in and say, oh, well, our hands are tied, we're not going to spend any money, then all of this is just for nothing. But I'm assuming he's going to want to get these teams competitive, which means you got to spend more money. You need a coach that can do that. Now, the head coach of St. Louis is one that I just retweeted under the Locked On BC handle. This guy, I think they're like 19-1. He's got, what's his name? Dion Brown, the guy that couldn't do anything last year. He looks great for the Billikens. This is going to be the top, G5 or whatever you want to call it, mid major. I think they call it more in basketball. Coach that is going to be available. If he's going to leave, he's going to need money. Any coach that you want, whether it's him, I joked earlier, Jerry McNamara over at Siena is doing great. There's Chris Mack down in Charleston. Obviously, he's got a big lineage of success for Louisville at different times. Like, there's guys out there that if you spend the money, you can get them here. That's what they need to do. Like, you need to, the whole point of this 20 minutes is Father Jack needs to take a long strategic look at everything. And for basketball, look at what's not working. You're losing basketball games. How can you change that? You need a better coach, one that knows how to win. Earl's shown over and over again that that's a big struggle for him. One that maybe brings in an exciting tempo that gets people involved. It just takes one infusion of good money, and this program will become self-sufficient again. I'm sure they look at budgets and Excel spreadsheets and all that nonsense. And when you have a game that has no students and no fans there, that's costing them money that they could be spending on this. So for BC, they got to go out there and spend it. You got to spend money to make money. This is a simple thing that I still don't understand. A school that has business as one of their best programs has yet to figure out, because they have gone year after year with doing the bare minimum, from being behind on the fish field house to being behind on a basketball practice facility, from being behind to renovating alumni stadium to stipends. They have been behind on everything. This is a chance to change that. Be forward thinking. Try something. You're a rich institution. You can spend the money to go out there and try to get a coach that knows how to win and get some excitement and get a second big team out here. Well, third, fourth, if you want to call hockey and lacrosse, which they certainly are. You need to do the same thing with basketball. Look at, diatribe here from AJ. You're getting one. I'm heated up here. You look at what BC has done for hockey, which I know a lot of it could be third-party NIL to get these guys in lacrosse. Lacrosse is a big burgeoning program for girls' sports everywhere. And BC they're legitimately a blue blood program. They are one of the top 3 every single year. They have one of the best coaches. And you know what they did? They spent money to keep her here. They spent money to get an elite recruiting class year after year after year. They spent money to get transfers. Rachel Clark, one of the best players they had last year, and even Charlotte North. These are all, and I'm not sure what her deal is, but like, you were able to go out there and spend to get them here and make it attractive for them. Why can't you do this for basketball? I don't understand. You're trying to some extent with football. It's not that great, but it's still trying. You do it with hockey. I mean, they bring in top 5 recruiting classes every single year. Why can't you do it with basketball? Spend. So that's my wish for Father Jack. Open up some extra revenue source. Get it through the school. Get a donation, whatever the case may be. All it takes, and this is so crazy, is you take Earl Grant's pay, whatever he's making, right? You just add $2 million extra a year, and you're paying closer to what the top coaches are paying. You could get anybody for $2 million. That's nothing. That's nothing. So go and spend it, and then add in $5 million to go out and get a transfer portal class. That's $7 million for a school that has an endowment of billions upon billions of dollars. You can do that, and you don't even need to touch the endowment. Just take a chance. Do that. Get a coach, spend a little extra, bring in a recruiting class. And you know what? I'll even say this. I'm talking about bringing in a transfer portal class. Build it around Fred Payne. Fred Payne is the guy. He's him. Okay? We thought Donald Ham was going to be him. He's having a hard time out there. Fred Payne is killing it out there. Pay him. Pay him to keep him, because he's going to have people wanting him next year, and you need to pay. Okay? So you guys see what my theme is with all this? My whole hope for Father Jack is that he's going to use this need to win, and hopefully there's a need in his brain that they want to win. He needs to get more money. And I think it strikes me, and I've seen Father Leahy. I've been at young alumni events. I've been at alumni events. I've been a lot of different things. You ask Father Leahy, he talks about all you hear. Like, I can remember being at Fenway when Dazio was there. I remember being at a young alumni event at Fenway, and he spoke, and all he could talk about were all the accomplishments of everything that they do. And he just kept pointing to, like, we got so-and-so players in the NFL, all this stuff. But it's like, yeah, it's great, but like, where are you going to want to go from here? My hope is that Father Jack sees that next step. Like, yes, we want to have great, well-rounded players that give back to their community and do well in the classroom. Yes, that's great. That's a great ideal. But you also want to do that next step you're going to get good guys in here, but they're going to need money too. So do that piece as well. There's been a lot going on with the season and then right to the transfer portal. This was a chance for me to breathe for a second and talk to you all about what I hope BC sees, because they cannot continue to do what they have done for the last couple of years. That's my thoughts on that. Hopefully you enjoyed my little diatribe. In a moment, speaking of mess, I want to talk about the national recruiting, all the nonsense going on with the transfer portal. Some things I can get over, these things I cannot. Let's be real. Managing your finances can feel overwhelming. Between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where your money goes each month, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? That's where Rocket Money comes in. The personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spendings, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I was shocked when Rocket Money showed me how much money I was spending on going out to eat. I completely forgot about it, and it saved me money. And also, subscriptions. Like, I have so many subscriptions, sometimes with work and like streaming stuff. I don't know what I have. And Rocket Money showed me a few that I didn't even know I still had. I was able to cancel them. Hey, that's saving money right there. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on. Wrapping things up here at Locked On Boston College, AJ Black here. It's a quiet day for BC football in sports. The basketball doesn't play until Saturday, against UVA. And, I wanted to talk about two national news items that don't impact BC directly, but kind of point to the issues going on in college football right now. And the first has to do with Dabo Swinney and Clemson, landing linebacker Luke Ferelli from Cal. Now, if you haven't been following along, Dabo Swinney went completely scorched earth on Pete Golding, the head coach of Ole Miss, the agent, and general manager over at Ole Miss for what was absolutely tampering. Luke Ferelli signed his NIL contract with Clemson, enrolled at Clemson, started taking classes and working out at Clemson, and then through a whole, and if you haven't watched Dabo lay it out, it's fascinating. I've never been more interested in Dabo Swinney before than watching that video. It's everywhere. Go check it out. But basically, Ole Miss kept pestering him, got, upped offers. And after he had signed, Luke Ferelli went elsewhere. That was one big news item. The second big news item was the one that broke this morning. Well, it's been going on for the last 5 or 6 days, but finalized this morning, which is that Darian Mensah, the quarterback at Duke, who had signed a 2-year contract, which apparently has no teeth, entered the transfer portal. They had a restraining order against him to leave, and Duke basically had to make a settlement with him, and he's off to Miami. These two stories, to me, are about as egregious of what's going on in the portal as it gets. Listen, I am not naive. I know that tampering is happening everywhere. There's a reason why Turbo Richard entered the transfer portal, and within 5 minutes of him entering the portal, 247 had a crystal ball for him to Indiana. I mean, unless they called and texted him immediately and said, hey, we want you, put 2 and 2 together right there. There's that. It's everywhere. And I'm sure every school is doing it, right? And Boston College, I'm sure, there's all sorts of things going on. But these two are just so egregious. And it really points to there needs to be a structure. And honestly, I'm not sure where that's going to come from, because they are signing contracts, but these contracts are not worth the paper that they're written on. Like, if Darian Mensah can sign and then just leave, or Luke Ferelli can sign and start classes and then still leave, then what's the point of the portal, segment? Portal. AJ's having trouble here. The portal period. Thank you. My goodness, word was not coming to me. But the portal period. What's the point of it? If you're a smart agent, have every one of your clients enter the portal, sign somewhere, and then just keep playing this game forever until you figure out what's the best place for your client to land. That's basically what you could do, because as long as you enter the portal at some point, you can keep messing around and doing whatever you want until the season starts. That's ridiculous. And whether it's collective bargaining or the NCAA needs to, they need a new way of policing all this, or contracts that have specifics with you have to be on this team for a certain amount of years. I don't know. But what I know right now are those two portal situations are disgusting. They are, right? Like, look at Duke. Like, you got me feeling bad for Duke and Clemson. Duke won the ACC title last year with Darian Mensah. They were preparing and had their self ready to go into this year with Darian Mensah as the quarterback. Well, the portal is now closed, and they are out of luck. I want to say the other word, but I'm not going to say it. They're out of luck because they're going to have to go on the scrap heap to find quarterbacks, because Mensah's gone. They weren't able to plan for it because they thought he was staying, and he basically pulled the wool over their eyes. Same thing with Clemson. Luke Ferelli was supposed to be like their ace linebacker, and believe me, Clemson, now that they're being more active in the portal, Dabo could get whoever he wants. He didn't get a chance to do that because he brought the guy he wanted, thought he was there. Like, what are we doing here? Now, if you're a Miami fan or a Ole Miss fan and you're going, hey, Jay, it's great for us. Great. Awesome. That's great for you. It's awesome for your team that you got Darian Mensah or you got Luke Ferelli. It's terrible for the sport. It's terrible for the fans. It's terrible for everyone except for that agent, that coach that he's going to, and the money that they're going to be getting. That's it. Okay? Because, for every time, I'm sure Miami's feeling good right now. They got Darian Mensah. How are they going to feel when it happens to them? It's going to happen. If this is the way it is right now and nothing changes, it's going to continue to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something stupid continues to happen this spring, maybe 2 or 3 more times, because there's nobody stopping it. Charlie Baker's watching the train run off the track, and he's just going, he's saying naughty, 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 but like, somebody's got to do something. Who's the adult in the room? How do you get this to stop? Because the portal's fine. Getting people to fall into that portal period and sign somewhere else is fine. But really, when a player is there, when he's already working out with your teammates, and then he leaves without telling I think you didn't tell anybody. That's so insane. Like, players need to have rights, but they need to fix this. This is just a gigantic mess. Well, thank you all for listening. This was AJ Goes on a Rant Day, apparently. Follow me on Twitter at AJBlack247. Check me out on Instagram, on TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads. I'm on everything. Again, come on over to Eagle Insight. I've got recruiting news, and I'm going to be doing another bonus episode. I probably won't have one tonight because I have something I have to do. But tomorrow, I'll probably have another bonus episode for all of my Eagle Insight. My all access tier folks for Locked On BC. Remember, the all access tier is very different than my Eagle Insider. It's 2 different companies I work for. So just remember that. And I hope to see you all again tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Boston College, your team every day.